It's the Open Bedroom Door Show.
I'm Angela Skurtu, and I open bedroom doors. Welcome to the Open Bedroom Doors Show. Real talk for real relationships. I'm your host, Angela Skurtu, your friendly neighborhood sex therapist and licensed marriage therapist. And yes, talking about sex is literally my job. I started this show because, let's be real, most of us didn't get sex education. We're out here fumbling through love, intimacy, and awkward bedroom moments with zero guidance and a lot of shame. Time to fix that. Here's what you can expect every episode. Sex positions. We start off hot by judging something wild, weird, or just plain wrong in the media or culture. You'll laugh, you'll cringe, you might even learn something. Next, we move to guest interviews. I chat with fascinating folks, sexperts, storytellers, and everyday humans with juicy stories and powerful insights. And then, of course, we have to have a happy ending. Yep, we finish strong. I answer real questions from real people about sex, relationships, and all the stuff you're too afraid to ask your therapist, or anyone else for that matter. But I'm here, so ask away. If you're ready to laugh, learn, and finally talk about the stuff no one ever taught us, hit play. Let's open that bedroom door, shall we? Oh, my back. I know. So I'm your sex therapist. I'm here to talk to you about back pain and sex because I want you to have a good sex life. This is the Open Bedroom Door Show, and we are doing our sex position segment, and we're doing our sex position segment in a bed. Isn't that great? So I want to talk to you today about different positions you can do when you're having back pain. So I have this. This is going to be my makeshift person that I'm having, I guess, sex with. I haven't pillow humped in a really long time. Not since I was 13. Did you used to do that when you were a kid? It's a total thing. So anyhow, this is my makeshift person. And one of the things that you can do with somebody with back pain, right? So like if you notice, actually just notice how much pressure I'm putting on my pillow person's pelvis right now. Can you see? Like I'm basically scrunched down on this person, right? And so one of the things you can do to take pressure off of their back is to put a pillow on both sides. Here, get out of here, guys. Don't need you right now. So if you put a pillow on either side, if this is the person with back pain, look what this does. Do you see how the pressure has now been lifted off of the pelvis by me just lifting my knees up just a bit? So again, these aren't necessarily the best pillows, but you can pick and use, I guess you can use these Smart Life pillows. But pillows on either side of a person are a great way to alleviate pressure. Now let's use a few other ones to show you back pain positions, right? So another thing, so basically what you're trying to do is prevent that low back from taking all of the pressure of the sexual experience. So another thing you can do is put this underneath your hips. I want you to see it. Ugh, it's harder to do than you think. Okay. All right. So here's me. And what I've done with this successfully is I have taken some pressure off of my low back. So this is the person who is below. So if I'm the woman in this position and I'm in a typical missionary position, it's not fully typical because here I am on the bottom, but my hips are up a little higher. Again, with this, you can do this, you can do this, a little bit of that. You can do all kinds of acrobats in this position. Be careful if you have sciatica though. So like also listen to your body, but like these are things that will help you to take pressure off your low back. And another one, so again, this is my pillow person, is this side position, right? So one person behind the other. Here's an example of what the humping might look like. Again, never thought I'd be doing this on a camera, but here I am, right? And I'm here to teach you to have a good sex life. So you would be doing this, you're in the spooning position, and then, yeah, you can lift a leg up this way, or you can just keep it down and come in from behind. And then there's one final one I want to teach you, which is where you're both laying down. So here's my pillow person. And here's me. And this is our genitals coming together this way. And so if you can find kind of a sideways position, so imagine their head is here. Here's their head. Make them a rainbow head. And here's me. Then you can kind of do it like this, or you can be on your back and they can be on their side. And then that's another position you can use. And all of these are meant to prevent low back pain and reduce pressure on your pelvic floor. All right, let me catch my breath. But you've been watching Sex Positions in a Bed from Mattress Dogs. I want to thank them so much for providing this space for me. If you would like to get a bed at their store, please use promo code SEXYTIME and you'll get your next bed from Mattress Dogs tax-free. We're always looking for sponsors. So if you would like to become a sponsor for the show or for the Sex Position segment, please go to openbedroomdoors.com and check out our sponsorship page. And we will, if you become one of our sponsors, we'll even let you pick the position. Want to spice up your sex life? Then be sure to pick up a copy of my new book, From No to Yes Sex. Tired of routine sex? Feeling more like roommates than lovers? This book is your invitation to transform your love life one thought at a time. Don't wait, order now. Today I have with me Nancy Wright. And Nancy, will you introduce yourself for everybody listening on the show?
Yeah, I am a former sex toy consultant and sales and educator for women. Now I am getting my graduate degree to become a therapist and then pursue certification as a sex therapist also.
Well, I'm so excited to have you. Well, let's dive right into our topic. We have Nancy Wright, and she is a budding sex therapist. She is getting into the world and learning. So, actually, Nancy, what made you decide to become a sex therapist?
I was educating women about sex anyway through my former business, and I just saw how important it is. And I felt how important it is for women to be able to identify with themselves and be able to have that pleasure and the comfort and the health aspects of it. And so I just feel like I feel like I tasted this great fruit and I wanted to go on the rooftop and shout to everyone, "You've got to try this fruit. This fruit is so healthy. This fruit is so delicious. This fruit is sex." And I
Mm.
think that women, particularly, I don't know if it's because we're in the Midwest but the purity culture leaves sex out of so much. And when I realized how great sex could be, not just for my relationship, but for myself, I thought, wow, women are really missing out on this. And I knew there was a community of women who could really be empowered for themselves. They could empower their families better by exploring this. It's so natural.
I gotcha. And you actually got one of your starts selling sex toys, correct?
Yeah.
So talk
So
a
I
little bit about
did.
what that was like selling sex toys, because it's funny. Long ago, before I became a sex therapist, I worked at some sex shop in Hawaii for like 2 months. And my favorite part of working at the sex store was just talking to people about sex and basically doing sex therapy. So I was like, I'm not necessarily a sex toy person, but I am definitely an educator. But like,
Yeah,
I'm
and you're
curious,
great
what was
at
your
it.
experience like?
Well, it was I okay, so I did parties for women. A girl would have her friends over and I would do a really entertaining, fun, educational presentation. We'd talk about different types of lubricants, the different functions of them, the different times to use them, which ones to not use in which situations. And then we would talk about different types of orgasms that women can have and how to enhance and have and extend those. So topics that we think that people probably should know, or maybe they should learn from watching porn, which was also very, very much against our culture, was any type of pornography was super taboo. And so the options for learning were really limited. One thing I loved doing these parties, though, was when I would do them for groups of Mormon women, which was probably almost half of my business because of where I was living at the time. And these women who were so hungry
Mm.
to nurture their marriage, to nurture their family, to make it be eternal and enjoy it, make it not be miserable. I could teach them about sex, the importance of foreplay. It's not just penetration. That foreplay is so important for enhancing the natural lubrication and the tinting of the vaginal canal when start to become aroused, it tilts backwards, elongates, and expands.
Mhm.
Women, we're not taught about any of that. And so being able to enhance women's sexual experiences within their relationships was just super powerful. Also, it was discriminated against. There were a lot of people who didn't like what I did. And
How did you get discriminated against?
well, one thing is that being a Mormon, one really, really pinnacle of your Mormonhood is being able to go to the temple. And that requires some very certain restrictions and limitations and rules that you have to follow. No alcohol, no drugs, no cigarettes, no sex before marriage, no sex outside of marriage, which they would even consider, again, masturbation, because it's sex with someone besides your spouse, even though it's just yourself.
Mm.
So it was taboo also. And so teaching women different ways to explore their bodies, whether it's in the bathtub, whether it's with their husband or their partner, although in the Mormon world, it had to be husband because otherwise it's a sin.
Everything
Um,
other than like a typical heterosexual relationship, you have to be married. There must be a ring, and you get married in the temple too, right? Like that's part of it.
yes. Yes. So you get married in this very sacred place. You have to meet these really high standards, give 10% of your income, all of these things to meet these standards. And if you don't get married in the temple, it's or progress your marriage to the temple, you're kind of like frowned on
I
and kind of
gotcha.
like not really welcomed. Your comments in you just aren't, you don't have the credibility
Hmm.
of you know, a,
So even
a
your
temple
marriage can
card
be in
carrying.
question. And what's interesting about what you're saying is all of those things. So I talk a lot about sex being like if you get too perfect, if you make it too high of an expectation, you actually make sex harder to enjoy and have fun with. And so what's interesting as you're describing it is like you have to this, all these rules, all these structures. It basically takes you out of the sexual experience and the ability to be intimate and like close with your partner when you have too many rules governing sex.
Well, not only that, but then you have the rules, and then you get married and the dam is open, and then what?
Oh,
And
yeah.
then what? Who do you talk to about the pain of penetration, and the importance of lubrication and intercourse? When I very first got married, when I was young and Mormon and dumb, my doctor tried to talk to me about sex, and I was so embarrassed. It was a male doctor, and I was like, okay, okay, okay. And I was like, I
Aw.
shut him down.
You're like, "You can't talk to me about this, oh my goodness."
No,
Aw.
no. Especially because it was a man talking to me about sex. Even a medical professional was very uncomfortable.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
Well, and I
So
have definitely experienced that too. So I remember growing up. So one of the things that got me into sex therapy actually was I had all these friends who got married young because we grew up in purity culture in my history as well. And so that meant that we all got married very young, 19, 20, 21. Actually, so funny story. I was crying in the bathroom at the church I was attending at the time because I was so sad that I wasn't married. I was 22 and all of my friends were getting married. And I'm just thinking back to this time of like, "Ugh," and
I'm an old maid.
this lady's like, Angela, you've got like so much time. Like, this is, this is, even she was like, this is crazy. Right. But like, Hawaii was a totally different culture when it came to their religious way of being. Like, it was interesting. We went out to Hawaii to be like missionaries at the time. And like, they were, like, surprised by how weird we were.
It is.
Uh,
It's the purity culture.
they were. They're like, you got plenty of time. You're in your 20s, right? So, yeah, like, but to your point earlier, then people would be so, like, stuck in this mindset of, like, sex has to look a certain way. There's way too many rules and
Mhm.
structures. And then, okay, so you get married and this floodgate is supposed to open. But, like, a lot of the women I work with today didn't make that transition. Like, they're like, it's still bad. I've been taught my whole life this is evil. I can't do it. There's something wrong with me. So now they're with their husbands or partners because not, you can believe and love, you can believe what you believe, you can love who you love, right?
Mhm.
And they're struggling like to this day to like be with people and their partners. And I don't know if you're seeing that too, but like I don't think it's easy to make that transition.
No, it's like I said, the floodgate is all of a sudden lifted. All of, the permission is there, but the steps to get to it aren't, what touch is safe? What touch is okay? How do I communicate that I want to do this? So
Mm-hmm.
what is a sexy way to put on a condom? What does a condom look like or feel like? It just wasn't even,
What is
you know,
foreplay? Is that a thing?
oh,
You know what's funny about
no.
that too? So I put people on this spectrum from rule following to rebellion, right? And so the people who are tightly rule following are the ones who get impacted the most in these very conservative religions because they really like they're rule following. They really believe and follow those rules. But what's funny is it's from rule following to rebellion. So the rebellious ones, the ones that are like, this is silly, they end up being swingers. They just like they go all out completely opposite. Or they have like you've heard of the church girls or church people who like basically have a whole like wild child time because they're like, nope, not doing it, and they like
Oh,
flip the
yeah,
other
the
way.
preacher's
The
daughter.
I've never heard of what's the Quaker's daughter?
No, oh, no, the preacher's
Oh, the
daughter.
preacher's daughter. I got the preacher.
The preacher's daughter is always the slut.
Oh, of course. Which we're not saying slut in a negative way here. We
Not in
want
a
you to
negative
slut it up
way.
with love.
Love grows. Go ahead and share
Enjoy
it.
it. Have fun. Well, but like that's interesting. When you said Quaker's daughter, it's like, well, now I've got to research Quakers. But you said preacher's daughter. Totally true. The preacher's daughter, and actually the missionary's daughter is even worse. It's fine. You know what? Like, just we really want to promote sexual health and wellness. So please do not hear any of this as us shaming you for opening up. Like, I really want people to own and honor their sexuality and find themselves. But like, I do think some of these tight religious value systems can make it difficult to own and honor your sexuality. Even when you have the freedom in your marriage, it's like suddenly, well, how do I do this now?
And what do I do?
Yes.
I mean, like I said, I didn't know masturbation was something that women could do
Hmm.
because I wasn't informed on the function in different parts of my body.
So what are the ways that you taught women with sex toys and are even teaching them now in your budding career to like own their sexuality?
I think just empowering them to, I think one of the biggest things is being comfortable with our bodies first, being able to touch our own bodies, learning what we like, so that we can guide a partner and explore together. I think that's one of the big things. Um, Communication, finding ways to increase the sexual communication, whether it's through games, whether it's through laughing, whether it's, through some little sex dice, or even reading a book together, like a sexy book or a romance book or a love language book, but something
Mhm.
connecting the couple mentally, which is what gets us our bodies into, our that sexual space.
Absolutely. It's so I just repeat over and over again. How do we talk about sex? How do we get comfortable with sex? Um, I find, I know we talked about this at one of our Nancy's on multiple episodes because she's a great guest. But like I think even giving people language or labels, right? Like saying blowjob, saying vulva, saying penis, not penis. Or like other words,
Yes.
penis. What's
Penis.
penis?
I might have an orgasm. Or I had women who would, they'd come to a party and I'd meet them with them individually after the party to discuss what their needs were. And they would say, "Yeah, I've had an orgasm. I have 3 kids. Clearly I've had an orgasm."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
not
it doesn't work like that.
necessarily. It does. I mean,
Mm-mm.
just having it, unless, well, there are women who get orgasms when they give birth. So unless it happened during that time.
Yeah, yeah. This was women who didn't know that a pleasure could come from sex, that were taught that it is only for procreation, and the
Mm,
only function of it is for the man to be satisfied and the woman to do her duty as a wife and then as a mother.
that duty sex. And it's so what ends up happening with people when they're doing duty sex or obligatory sex, I also call it self-sacrificial sex, is they get
Mhm.
tired of it. They get over it and they don't care anymore. Like they literally stop having sex at some point.
Oh, so many women would tell me they would lay there and watch TV while their husbands would have sex with them, or they'd think about the dinner list or the grocery list or what they needed to do that evening with all the kids or something and not even be present.
Oh, talk about dissociation. Well, Nancy, we're towards the end of the interview. Thank you again for joining us. Can you let the audience know where they can find you?
Sure. The best place to find me is on Facebook. If you search for Finding Nancy at Gmail, like Finding Nemo, you can find and follow me. And then I can also add you to a secret Facebook group where we have lots of fun sex jokes and conversations.
Well, Nancy, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thanks, Angela.
Hey, lovebirds. This Valentine's Day, Saturday, February 14th, ditch the boring dinner and join us for Dinner with a Sex Therapist. We've got celebrity chef Terry Jane from Fox 2 News cooking up an aphrodisiac menu that'll make your heart, and maybe a few other things, flutter. I'll be there answering your juiciest sex questions live and unfiltered and in bed. It's fun, flirty, and all about you and your relationship. Because let's be real, no one else is going to put your love life first. Grab your tickets. This is one Valentine's Day you won't forget. That's too spicy. Well, guys, on the Open Bedroom Doors show, we often have content that's a little too spicy for your typical social media platforms. So for those of you who are like, I love everything Angela Skurtu and I want to know all the spicy details, we actually have a space where we put the uncut shows, and it is at patreon.com/openbedroomdoors. So you can subscribe to that channel and get all the behind the scenes, all that spicy stuff that I wasn't able to put in the show. That's too spicy. So I hope you can join me at patreon.com/openbedroomdoors. Keep in mind, that is how you support me. So it is a subscription channel where you have to pay to subscribe, but you are becoming a supporter of me and putting out this awesome content as a result. So please join me for those spicy, spicy things. I'm Angela Skurtu, and on every show, I answer one of your sex questions. Joining me as always are my BDSM bears, Barry Bonds and Consent Cub. If you'd like to have your questions answered on the show, please submit a question in the comments below, or you can submit a contact form at my website, openbedroomdoors.com. Is watching porn cheating? I just want you all to know this question comes up all the time, all the time. And the answer is it depends. I would talk to your partner. What do they feel about porn? What do you feel about porn? Now, you guys are allowed to have different opinions about this too. I would rather you be honest about your opinion and talk about that than for you to ask your partner, do you think porn's cheating? They say yes, and then you just agree with them to like end the conversation. That is a problem. So if you have a different opinion that I don't know that I think porn is cheating, I think it's just watching and getting off, then tell your partner that. But then also explore why your partner thinks it's different. So porn is a show like any other show. One way I neutralize porn is I just call anything that you see that's sort of sexual content. Because if you think about it, let's go to Netflix, your Hulus. I'm watching a really great show called Billions, and they have sex content on it all the time. And my question to you is, what is the difference between sexual content that you see on a show like Billions or a show like Game of Thrones and porn? Like, what really is the difference? Okay, I get it. There's a few more graphic scenes, but in the end, it's still just sexual content, and there's just various sexual content that's out there. And so I would even like dig deeper in this conversation with your partner about, well, what makes it feel more like it's porn versus just typical sexual content? And then also, what is it specifically about porn that would feel like cheating? And is it cheating or is it just uncomfortable? And again, these are deep questions. But I would love it if every one of you who is dating somebody or married to somebody or in a long-term relationship to ask these questions just to understand each other's differences. Because what I see on my end is it's not the porn that's making people mad. It's when it feels like porn is replacing the sex life. That's what makes people mad. Or it's when somebody feels like porn is something they have to compete with. Like, I don't look like the women on that porn, so how could you like me, right? And a lot of guys I talk to about this don't see it like that. They really just see porn as like something they watch just to get off really quick because it's easy and simple. But like really, they'd rather be having sex with their partner. Really, like there's nothing that compares from a movie or a show to like the real thing and being with an actual woman who wants to be with you. Is it cheating? One, it depends on your relationship and the way you set boundaries in your relationship. And that is different for every couple. And two, the bigger advice I'm giving you is have real, honest conversations and just get to understand what porn means to each of you. And that will set you off in a better path with each other in your relationship. Well, that's a wrap on this episode of the Open Bedroom Doors Show. Real talk for real relationships. If you laughed, learned, or blushed a little, you're welcome. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with a friend who needs a little more real talk in their life. Got a burning question about sex, love, or relationships? Check out openbedroomdoors.com and submit a contact form. Your question might just be featured in a future Happy Endings segment. Until next time, keep it honest, keep it sexy, and most of all, keep those bedroom doors open. Good night and have a sexy tomorrow.